Gabe, Brandon was just telling us how you were way more agile than he was.
You were definitely more agile, I think, because you had a background in soccer. I was more about running straight.
You're the drag racer.
Yeah.
He's time attack.
Yeah. So let's talk about.
You're into kung fu.
Say that again.
He said you're into kung fu.
Yeah, I was. I grew up doing martial arts. It was definitely my first sport, and before MMA was popular, I think it was mostly something kids would tease me about. To be honest, being Asian, and of course I do martial arts, right? People just assume.
I honestly, though, I would say that's the wrong person to tease, right?
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Asian who actually does martial arts.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to avoid the whole time.
It was before MMA. There's a. Go ahead, Gabe.
When I was in at school, that's all what we would all of our friends would think that, like, you're picking on the wrong one out of all of us.
Yeah. I mean, there were. Go ahead.
I want to say one time, Brandon got bullied by an older kid.
Oh.
Which one was this?
So,
You got to refresh me.
I'll remind you to tell the story.
All right, tell the story.
He was just trying to be a bully just for no reason because we were all having fun. And so you were being a little smart ass. You said one smart ass for Mark, like you always did. He thought he'd be big and hurt you. Kept trying to hit you, and the whole time you're just like, what? Stop, what?
Yeah.
Every single hit you blocked.
Yeah.
But then at the end, you got in trouble, which was funny.
Yeah. I remember that.
Wait, why did you get in trouble in that?
I
in that
engaged
scenario?
in the fight, and
No, he was throwing punches.
I think what I said was pretty offensive. I have to say, in my memory, I did kind of tease him into it. But he did one of those things where I was probably in 6th grade. This guy was in 8th grade. All right, I think I remember this one. And we were playing basketball, right? We were actually on the sidelines of basketball. And this dude with his group of friends just gave me this look. And I said something pretty offensive. Because I was like, why are you looking at us?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like, what? And I remember him like, he had a bunch of books that he was carrying from his class. He gave his books to his friends and started stepping up to me. I was, oh shit, it's going down. Like all these years of training, it's finally happening. But my panic mode, my reaction was just defend. So as he was throwing his punch, you know how people throw punches at those age, right?
Those untrained
just wild
punches.
swings, right? I would just be dodging it like the Matrix, right? And I was like, what's going on? What? And then he tired himself out to the point where he stopped. And it's like, yeah, that's right. I was like, what happened? So it was pure instinct. Like I didn't react in terms of like, it's about to go down. It was more like, oh shit, we're fighting now? What's going on? So it was my first fight. But I remember telling Gabe, like, I should have punched him. It's like, it's probably my only one. And it was my only real fight since then. But it was a...
Could you imagine that display, like, for the friends? Like, oh.
Like that was probably the first time these guys saw me in a fight.
Yeah.
And how in control I was.
I love how 80s that sounds. Like, he gave his books.
Yeah. I remember that part. Yeah, he had, like, a whole intro. It was, like, as if... a video game in Street Fighter. It was like a
that's
whole...
a story straight out of Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mess you up, man. Hold my books.
I know. And I remember...
He's got lackeys.
Yeah. Like, I reacted way past the fact.
Sure.
Like, I didn't collect everything until it happened, right? And then I think one of my friends was like, hey, you should go tell the principal or whatever what happened, because that was not cool. That guy started attacking you. I was like, really? I don't care.
Yeah.
But then eventually I went up to him. I was like, yeah, this guy just started a fight with me. He's like, are you hurt? He's like, no, I'm not hurt. You know, it was kind of happening really fast. He's like, all right, I mean.
Well, so you're suspended.
Yeah.
Where did that link happen?
I think there was some kind of detention thing after, but the other guy too got somewhat in trouble because he said I provoked him. Right?
But you did.
I offensively used words. All right? He could have talked back. Right? And that would have been a conversation.
It's probably a lot harder to explain. He gave me a look.
You gave me a look. Dude.
At that time, though, principals and guidance counselors, they didn't understand the social dynamics of like fight culture.
Yeah.
When someone says he gave me a look, that meant he wanted to harm me. I know what that means. Obviously, Gabe knows what that means.
Look at this face.
Those like 1990s use your words, walk
yeah.
away guidance counselors. They don't know what it means when someone says
It's
they gave me a look.
yeah, it's one of those things during
Yeah.
school now that I have an 8-year-old and I'm like looking at him. It's like, I don't think that's the way the world works. You know, you gotta be able to stand up against bullying instead of kind of having to retreat and hope that things will be different the next day.
Work.
I hope that's
hoping
not.
And bullying doesn't work.
Yes, and I feel like that's the message with a lot of the schools now. It's like retreat, tell a teacher, sure.
Right.
But the social dynamic, like you were saying, changes because the next day you're coming to school as a bitch, and you're just inviting more bullying, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't think.
Well,
they sometimes call it like toxic masculinity, right?
It's the thing is, and I'll say this, we can end
agree.
and kind of pull back on Gabe's experience. For me, it's you have to understand like there's real world scenarios that actually occur in a small scale in a school environment because it's a social structure.
Yeah.
You still have bullies, you still have people who are at the time considered weak or prey.
Yeah.
And then you have like the middle of the row, like people who just kind of have found their way to blend in by not standing out, but also by not really going against any sort of grain that occurs, right? They let the bullying happen to someone else, or they'll whip out their phone cameras because it's safer for them to be audience than to be an action taker and try to help prevent, because then that draws attention to themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of guidance counselors and teachers are setting up these structures that don't recognize the fact that that social structure is what exists in the real world as well.
Right.
Like when somebody at the bar is like, hey man, oh shit. Someone at the bar, you know what I mean? Just
like I
start
was
shit
there. Okay.
for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Where's your guidance counselor then?
Exactly.
Where's your,
you gotta tell the bartender,
sure,
like
call the
this
cops.
dude.
You got 15 minutes to figure out how to not die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I applaud my own life experience and Brandon's life experience for preparing me for tough situations in real life and giving me confidence and spirit to be able to deal with or handle specifically bullying scenarios and situations like that. It is 2019, and I'm not sitting here advocating for bullying. Like, I don't agree that it's the right thing that people should go through. I'm simply acknowledging that there is a direct relationship between the experiences that I had, good or bad, in the social structure of a school environment that also seem to continue to happen, good or bad, in the adult social structure. And so I personally just understand it, like having gone through both, like being somebody who protects people, but also somebody who had gotten picked on in his life. Those lessons and like that experience actually like plays out in real life now, you know, like how I treat people, how I deal with people, how I anticipate danger, how I know when to step in to try to prevent somebody from getting their ass kicked or not, you know, all of that really is life experience that came by way of the youth experience that I had. It's why lion cubs play and wrestle. You don't see the male lion or the mom lion like, no, kids, don't play and wrestle. Because they're like, no, this is survival skills. You need to learn how to put the other lion on his back. You need to learn how to sink your teeth in, go for the neck. You need to learn, you're not actually doing it to your brother, the other cub. You're not actually doing it to your sister, the other cub. But you're going through those motions because those same strategies still work when you're a full-grown adult fighting for the pride. You know what I mean? I can't use my words when the burglar busts in my house and is like talking about, give me all your money, give me this, give me that. There are times where you will have to defend yourself. Sure, call the police. Do everything you're supposed to do that society has set up to defend you. But every now and then, some people are put up against situations where they actually have to go back to primal structures and say, I have to hit you harder than you hit me to get out of this situation. Or I have to outrun you and tire you out to get out of this situation. Or I have to call for help to get out of the situation. There is no like, hey, use your words. I haven't met a negotiator yet who has like talked themselves out of an ass kicking when it was one-on-one and no one else was around. I just haven't met them yet. I've seen plenty of people who are incredibly confident in their fighting skills use their words to diffuse the situation as much as possible. And then the other person unknowingly throws a strike, and that's when the other person like bloop, 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 counter, you're on the ground. Yeah. Like Matt Serra at the restaurant where he's like, calm down. You don't want to, like that guy did not know he was dealing with UFC champion Matt Serra. Yeah. And Matt Serra didn't show that side of himself immediately. He diffused the situation with words as much as he could, engaged with violence, and then it was over. He always had restraint because he had the upper hand. Right. He knew how to defend himself.